We are back live at your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance, www.bolopunchboxinghour.com, streaming to you live as always on Ustream.tv. We just had the ceremonial first pour of the 2009 Dark Lord Russian Imperial Stout from Munster, Indiana, over by there, the Three Floyds Brewery in Munster. Have you ever eaten there before, Mo?
No, I've drank there before. I've never eaten in there.
We just ate a glass of.
We just ate there just now. Yeah, that is a very thick beer. Union Park.
Are you really holding that up? Are you actually holding
Union Park.
He holds up the smallest business card in the world.
It's the same size as every other damn business card. No, it's called Union Park, and our good friend is Brad Court. Brad Court is the new manager of Union Park Lounge in Chicago.
He's also the new manager of Mike Mollo.
Yeah. Well, they're a package deal. Yeah. Well, Mike Mollo, Chicago heavyweight championship contender at very least.
He actually had some problems with his past manager and decided to switch over to a more friendly manager that he thinks it'll be a little bit better for his career. And actually, if you look on the Bolo Punch website, there's a photo of him actually talking to Deontay Wilder, actually explaining to him some of the things that happened with his manager and telling him some of the things to avoid. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see what he said. I don't want to bring up any names or anything of his managers,
reason to.
But
that was also a private conversation, so it's not up to us to. And they weren't talking to us. Yeah. So for us to talk about what, a second and third party we're talking about, that's not cool. So, he was, from what you told me, it was some of the pitfalls to avoid. Now that Wilder is 4-0 with 4 knockouts, there was a time when Mike Mollo was 4-0 with 4 knockouts.
And bottom line is, Mollo's been around the game a little while, and he knows what to look for and what not to look for in the whole fight game.
Absolutely.
He knows who can help Wilder advance, and he was trying to help him out. And it's kind of cool to see more veteran boxer actually do that.
Yes, I mean we were chatting it up with him actually at the bar there, just about taking all his fights apart for his new bride, actually, who we got the chance to meet as well. Yeah, Mike Mollo's doing well for himself.
Yes, he is.
I'll just leave it at that.
And we're excited.
I will drink to Mike Mollo.
We're excited to see what he has in the future. He said he was injured for his last couple fights.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a lot of what he was talking about. Pressure to fight when he was injured.
Pressure to fight when injured was the main issue that he was dealing with his previous manager.
Yeah.
Something that he's not going to have to deal with now.
Yeah, that's it. That's hopefully it'll work out good for him. And he's exciting. I think the weight problem is more of anything for him. I mean, he only weighs 220, 215.
Yeah.
He's closer to being a cruiserweight.
I'm telling you, man. I've been trying to use this as a topic for like 3 weeks. The coming of the new heavyweight is not 330 pounds. The new heavyweight is 225.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going back to old school.
The new heavyweight is 225, and he can move.
Yeah, a big guy at heavyweight would probably be somewhere closer to 250. And
yeah,
it would be a big heavyweight.
Well, Klitschko's 260, so I mean, they're still the two champs are still at 260, two of the big.
And they're freaks of nature.
Yes.
According to the new Guzman model of what the new heavyweight is, that they're freaks of nature. They're enormous. Jamil McCline, huge. Shannon Briggs, huge. Layman Brewster even shows up at 240, 245. So that's a very large man, and he's not exceptionally tall.
Yes, but they're starting to get a little bit smaller as we see Povetkin and Areola coming up. They're not quite.
Povetkin's not huge, but Areola is heavy. Areola's heavy. He shows up 250.
And he should be showing up at 235, 240.
Are you going to tell him that? I ain't telling him that.
There's plenty of people telling him that.
Yeah, so he doesn't
need to listen to me. He needs to listen to somebody a little bit more important than me.
Like Tim. Tim's important. Just ask him. He'll tell you.
I know. He keeps telling me all the time. I don't even have to ask him.
Hey, man, I'm important. Very cool. Oh, my God. I mean, I don't even know how to start with this weekend of boxing. I don't even know where to start. We covered 2 live events. We covered Friday Night Fights, ESPN 2's Friday Night Fights from UIC Pavilion in Chicago on Friday night, obviously. hanging out with Tessitore and Teddy Atlas. Very, very cool.
I mean, let's talk about some of the guys that were in the crowd. We said Mike Mollo earlier. David Diaz was in the crowd.
Sam Colonna, as always.
Well, he was a
Wilder. Well, yeah, but he's a boxing dignitary.
But what's his name?
Deontay Wilder.
What's the MMA guy that was there? Can't think of his name with the fang.
Andre Arlovsky.
Arlovsky
who in September is going to put the boxing gloves on for the first time. Now, he trains a lot as a boxer, but he is going to actually become a professional boxer. And when that time does come, we'll have Gibson in, because I love having Gibson in, because he's real great with the dogs and everything.
Arlovsky's a very good striker, and
Arlovsky's an outstanding striker. His big thing with MMA is his stand-up is outstanding.
And we actually talked to Mike Mollo. Mike Mollo's training MMA fighters now for their striking ability, basically.
At the POW gym, just down the street of 228 South Racine, which is where the Union Park Lounge is.
Hold that card up.
I can't say. I mean, the hospitality we were showing was unparalleled.
We're planning on putting a link on the website. So
228 South Racine, Union Park in Chicago. Outstanding. Good food too.
Good food followed by a good night of knockouts just down the street.
Man. Outstanding.
I mean, we're gonna get to breaking down each of these fights, but just to sum it up, most of the fights ended in knockout. I don't think any of the fights went more than 4 rounds. So I don't have the stats in front of me, but it seemed like none of the fights went more than 4 rounds.
The Antonio Escalante fight.
It was not an early night by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it wasn't early. There were a lot of fights, and they knew how to stretch it out. I'm not saying other promotions don't. I'm saying this one in particular, they
most of them do this
most
stuff.
of them do. Yep.
Chris is drunk tonight.
I am a little drunk today.
But it was exciting fights. I obviously a lot of people seen it on TV, not just the live. It's a little bit different than just a live event.
So Deontay Wilder, who was the 2008 American bronze medalist, he fought on that card on Friday Night Fights, and then Antonio Escalante against Gary Stark Jr. Gets the 3rd round knockout over Gary Stark. And that was an outstanding fight, especially with the chin that Gary Stark usually possesses.
And then Danny Jacobs he fights and gets a nice knockout, and then gets rewarded right after the fight with an email to his manager saying they're considering him for the replacement for Kirkland.
Oh, that's been on Fight News for 4 days now. That fight has been it's done. So
well, that night he was just a consideration though.
Yeah, but at this point
he was the top consideration. But
as of this moment, as of a couple days ago actually, but it is official that Danny Jacobs, who just fought Friday Night Fights, is now
fighting again this week.
In 2 nights, going to fight on the Pacquiao Hatton undercard against Michael Walker, the Midnight
Not that he got hit a whole lot of times on Friday Night Fights, maybe 10 times or something.
Still, though,
it is
to fight again that quick. That's something.
That's old school.
That's the way you do it, man. I like seeing that stuff. So, yeah, let's go ahead and let's take our second break of the night. We'll be right back, and we'll go through all the fights that got us through the week. Awesome. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So we'll take a break. We'll come right back. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. www.bolopunchboxinghour.com. Streaming to you live as always on Ustream.tv.